Well, hello and welcome to part 3 of this special preview of the English Greyhound Derby, sponsored by Star Sports. Now, it's at this point in the morning that we're going to speak about the bigger priced contenders. So we're going to start with the likes of Black Farron, who was runner-up in last year's Irish Derby, beaten in the Scottish Derby at the weekend. Didn't get a run there, Martin.
He's one of those dogs, Black Farron. He's owned by a big syndicate. A couple of friends of mine actually are involved with it as well. He's one of them dogs who does nothing flashy, but always seems to be there or thereabouts and just sort of qualifies. I mean, through just being a consistently solid dog. Another sort of dog again. Mark will have him right, and just bring him through. He's been brought along very slowly round here. A couple of his early trials here weren't too flashy at all. When we thought this was an Irish Derby finalist, and he was going there in like sort of 28.90 with his first couple of 480 trials, but he's just gradually come there and been brought along very, very slowly. Again, he's no flash dog that makes you go wow, but so you can't. The dog's been to an Irish Derby final and a Scottish Derby final. It takes a bit of doing, so it's under the bonnet there somewhere, the ability, but it's just one of them dogs that hasn't got the wow factor about him, but it will be a total surprise to see him go quite a way. Now,
a greyhound who has got the wow factor, I think, is Calico Ranger. Of course, of Carol Weatheralls, who's a very, very popular performer, swashbuckling, fantastic, fast finishes. Again, would he be on your side going into the Derby?
He's just one of those dogs that going in. You see him here last year. He won the puppy race there on final night last year, and everyone was getting really excited about him for this year. Again, he's not really gone forward, has he? You always find that a faster dog in front of him. There'll be 2 or 3 dogs in front of him that he's never going to quite get to. He's one of them dogs, and again, he's got to do it around the outside. He always wants to go wide and keep himself a little bit out of trouble. I'm not saying he's a little bit of a soft dog, but he's always keeping himself wide and just keeps himself to himself. Again, sort of dog you expect to stay on, but one night there'll be 2 or 3 dogs that are too fast in front of him. He just won't get to them, and you can just see that being his downfall and going out.
But you take each way bets, so
we
each
do
way
indeed.
For the Derby.
Well, that's it. It's each way to the final 6.
Yeah.
There's plenty of dogs that are around, plenty of 6-bend dogs that run, and again, you can just see them sneaking in. Always qualifying second, third. Look at the Astute Missile last year. Didn't win a single round. Second, third, second, third. Snuck through. Final night. There we go. He's turned second or higher, but the rest is history. And the dog had won over 5.75 at Romford, so we had a little bit of staying form in the card. So they can do it. The dogs that are back. We sat doing this last year, and we're saying that we were giving all the flashy dogs all the Derby right up last year. I remember just saying, just some sort of under the mill open race that's been there or thereabouts all year can pop up and win a Derby. Which is that it can't happen again. And talk about the bigger price ones.
Can he pick up Dorota's Wildcat and Magical Bow, Calico Ranger, Kevin?
No, I don't think he can. No, he was behind us in I think it was the Eclipse semi-final, and he had every chance in behind us and couldn't get to us. So I don't see why he can reverse that. I mean, on his day, very flashy, isn't he? Some great performances down at Hove during the Olympic. But for me, he's a dog that could go a few rounds. But I think later stages, when you've got those flying early pace dogs, I think he would just have too much to do himself.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to agree with the lads in that sense. He's the type of dog that should be really sponsored by a bookmaker because because of his style, people get stuck into him, but he's just frustrating. And when it comes to the latter stages of Derby, it'll all well and good. You'll be after the second round. I can see people going, "Well, how are we going to keep him out of the final?" Because he's doing this big run late and all that. And all of a sudden, he gets to the 3rd round or 4th round, and he has a Tyra Shea and he has a Bruiser's Bullet in front of him, and another couple of top class dogs, and you're going, "Oh, well, if this dog's turning last, and he's going to try and pick them up, and he's going to run 540 metres instead of 500 metres. Like, if he had a racing line that was any way conducive to the place, fair enough, but no, not for me.
Would he win the 6-bend race on Derby final night?
He'd probably give away too much ground.
Possibly so. Right, now, Astute Missile. I don't want to rub this in, Ian, but it was an English-trained winner of the English Derby last year. Okay, from a good Tipperary man in Seamus Cahill, but nevertheless, that was fantastic. And again, similar to Tyra Shea, similar to Claire's Rocket, we thought that he'd been retired. He's back, and can the Derby double be landed?
Who's to say? We weren't given him much of a chance last year. A dog that was formerly known as Carlo, so he's named after a county in Ireland. He raced in Shelburne Park. He's trained and owned and bred in Ireland, and then of course he came over here and was trained by a Tipperary man. But Jetty's a UK runner, fair enough. Astute Missile. Is he any different to last year? If he's back, he's obviously ready to run. He's like Martin said, he's not a flashy dog. He just does what he does. He's a decent starter. He runs his line into the corner. He runs hard down the back, and he stays strongly because he's a 600-yard winner in Shelburne Park. You don't get 600 yards in Shelburne, not being a top contender. So who's to say? Like he's a similar profile in terms of Clare's Rocket and Tara Shea. If he's as well as he ever was, who's to say he can't win another derby? Obviously, he was a big price in last year's final, and if he got to this year's final, I've no doubt he'd be a big price again. But I know I wouldn't be writing him off. It's one of those where I wouldn't back him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the quarterfinals of Derby and then hoping for a little bit of luck.
I mean, we wish Seamus Cahill and, of course, Jeff Hill great luck, and it was good to see that Jeff then became sponsor of the Towcester Gold Cup, which was great, putting something back, which is absolutely thumbs up. Now, talking about the Derby winner, what about the Oaks winner? Wahida. I think she's a bitch of Philip Simmons, who just impresses me every time I see her. What do you think, Kevin?
I think she's a great bitch. She was a super winner of the Oaks in December last year. I think her performance in the first round of the Scottish Derby shows she can mix it against the dogs as well. She's got good form here. She was, I think, desperately unlucky not to make the Puppy Derby final actually after trouble at the bend. And she's got everything you need. She's got, you know, she breaks. She's got wicked early. She gets this 500, no problem at all. You know, not saying she could win a derby, but she'd certainly be of interest in the, you know, the bitches to go furthest in the competition, that type of market. I'm a big fan. She's a great bitch. Yeah.
Has that been framed yet, Martin? Probably too early.
Too early yet.
Yeah.
We know the full entries. We'll get all the bitches up together anyway. Do the same market. That was quite popular last year actually.
I put IOU penalty in about 12 to 1. I wouldn't fire you.
We
big
done
price.
We done our money last year actually on that with the it was Graham's dog, wasn't it? It was the bitch who went furthest last year, who won on final night. Its name now escapes me.
One of the slippery bitches, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't actually, no. But we'll come to it in a minute. But we done our money on that market anyway last year. Bitch to go the furthest, so yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk about bitches' records in the derbies, but they've got to be tough and they've got to be resolute. I think Wahida is. I think she's got everything. She was obviously unlucky and something went amiss ahead of the semi-finals of the Scottish Derby, but and desperately unlucky, I thought, behind Bull Run Button, another very powerful bitch, this time of Barry Draper.
Very fast lady, from a very fast litter. She looked a superstar in one of her early races at Kilkenny last year. I assume she was sold for decent money. And I remember seeing her first night over here in Sheffield, and she got chinned, but she ran really hard in defeat, and she's gone from strength to strength. She probably depends on an inside run, especially with the early speed that's going to be around her. I'd say she'll need to be on the inside, but another one like that, she'll hug the fence, and if she gets a run into the back straight, she'll be a bitch that could go a few rounds, you know.
Kevin, you know plenty about the litter. You've of course got Dorothy's Wildcat. Dorothy's Vic came to the fore during the Scottish Derby, one of the favourites on final night. Didn't quite come off for Charlie Lister on that particular occasion, but again, he seems to be a dog that has matured now. Yeah,
he's a very fast dog. I mean, Charlie said he was a big backward type of dog and was always going to take time to mature. And certainly in the last few months, he's really come to the fore. I mean, one of the best litters of all time. So he probably got overlooked in his early days, but you know, his Scottish Derby campaign was top class. Unfortunately, he missed a break in the final, and he didn't get a run at them. But I think if he takes the Towcester, he's a dog very capable of going a long way. Yeah,
that's the question. Will the place play to his strength? Like his real running is 2 to 3, and they're only racing for 3.5 seconds on the back straight here. That's the problem. If it was a longer back straight, he'd certainly be leading contender, but he does run a good corner, in fairness to him, and once he gets up ahead of steam into the corner, he is racing at that stage.
He's had an awful lot of trials around Sheffield as well. Sheffield's a very similar track to Towcester, although for me Sheffield form doesn't really travel that well, I always seem to find, but you know, they're very similar tracks with big sweeping bends and quite short straights, and you know, Charlie's kept the ticking over it. A lot of his dogs just trial at Sheffield, it seems, as opposed to racing over the winter, and this has been the same sort of thing with the Voters Week. Also laid in a few shrewd people as well, but on him at big prices, 100 to 1 plus, so it'll be a dog that could go a fair way, and as you say, from a great litter. So
that Sheffield form, Scottish Derby form, Drop Zone as well.
Drop Zone's a dog I love actually. Yeah, he's a gorgeous looking dog, and he's always been there or thereabouts. Got some tremendous form around Sheffield. Runner up in the Scottish Derby final. And I know the owner's very keen to bring him down there, and he thinks a world of the dog as well, Pip. So yeah, he's a lovely dog, Drop Zone.
If he'd been on the other side of the other edge, he'd have won the Scottish Derby.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, the other edge did it all right, as you say, and showed the pace to the corner. But yeah, he's a sort of dog who could, again, needs to take the Towcester. I'm not sure he's even been round him. He's had a try. He might have had a trial there last year, I think. He missed the Derby last year, but as you say, yeah, he's a dog they like a lot, and he's certainly sort of dog you can see going deep as well.
Okay, now courtesy of Matt Dartnell, courtesy of Mark Wallace, courtesy of Patrick Janssens, courtesy of Kevin Hutton. Towcester got a massive hand, of course, this year. You know, are there greyhounds that maybe are bubbling under in terms of sort of A1, A2, A1 progressing who are going to make a play in the Derby. I'm thinking Ninja Fortune possibly could be one.
Good name. Good name.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the strength of grade at Towcester is by far the best in the country for me. So, you know, it may not look too impressive to have an A1 or A2 dog in the Derby, but believe you me, they're very good class dogs. And I mean, Ninja Fortune was a very impressive winner of the top heat here last week. 28.04 on a track that wasn't fast by any means. He seems to be improving all the time, so I'm sure he can go a few rounds.
And remiss of me not to mention that Towcester have just taken on a young up-and-coming trainer by the name of Sava, I think his name is. Have you come across a Nicholas Sava?
Once or twice, yes. He's had some winners here already, as he would do wherever he went.
He could win a Derby
great
someday.
Man. Yeah,
Might do one.
yeah. They don't
Well, look,
come
the
any better.
Westmeads. I have actually, on a serious point, spoken to Andy Ialno about this. He said 2019. Yes, this year they think they're probably a little bit shy and short, but you know, good to see the great man around the place.
It really is, yeah. I mean, what an absolute legend in our sport, and probably agree with that. They're a little bit quiet at the moment in terms of the top class dogs, but they think they've got a few on the way, so they'll be very much a kennel worth following. And yeah, I mean, they don't come any better, do they?
Absolutely, they don't. Nick Sava, of course, a legendary trainer and breeder. He trained a certain Westmead Hawk to win back-to-back Greyhound derbies. Can Astute Missile emulate that feat?